Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So, I had a couple of subscribers basically ask me to raise this issue because, as you all know, I've done quite a few videos about this ADOS sham movement, exposing it, destroying it ideologically. So I felt the need to do this video. I was already thinking about it, and if you saw my first video on Nipsey Hussle, you will see that I mentioned that. I mentioned the fact that he is a son of an immigrant. His father is from Eritrea. That's an African country on the eastern part of Africa. And his whole lifestyle rebuts a lot of these arguments that these ADOS followers and drones and bots have been putting out there. The main narrative that they have is an anti-black immigrant narrative. The narrative that scapegoats immigrants, blames immigrants for the plight of the African American, talks about how immigrants are replacing African Americans, talks about how immigrants are pawns of white supremacy and complicit with white supremacy and all this and that. And, they say that black immigrants can't represent the interests of black people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Talking about how black immigrants are docile compared to African Americans and they can't relate to our plight and they can't represent us. That's all the stuff that you hear all day and night from these ADOS drones, these ADOS bots, these ADOS zombies. They repeat what they heard Yvette Carnell saying, what that Antonio Moore has said. Actually parroting white supremacist anti-immigrant rhetoric and not even being smart enough to realize it. So some of these people that are on this ADOS bandwagon are some of the same people that want to celebrate Nipsey Hussle's life and everything like that, not realizing that it contradicts all this rhetoric that these people have put out here about how immigrants don't care about the African Americans and aren't doing anything for African Americans, when this brother's whole life is contrary to all those negative stereotypes and prejudicial type of views of immigrants. This brother gave back to the community. He made money as a rap artist, and he could have just left and headed towards Beverly Hills and never looked back to the hood. But this brother stayed in the hood. This brother invested in the hood. He built businesses in the hood, employed people in the hood. This brother also had a STEM program to encourage young black people and other people to get involved in math and sciences. At a time when people were pushed towards entertainment and athletics, this brother was encouraging black people to build their minds, encouraging black people to invest into real estate. This brother was talking about not wasting money on things that depreciate in value right away. So this brother was doing big things against violence in the community. This brother held marches against the violence. This brother was actually trying to meet with the police to develop strategies to address gang violence in Los Angeles. This brother also, on the day when he was killed, he was actually trying to meet with one of his friends who just got released from prison to try to get a brother guidance, to try to get a brother assistance. That's what this man was doing, man. Trying to give back, being a living example of what people should do. He defies all those negative stereotypes of the ADOS movement. And I just think that it's hypocritical that all these people that have so much to say about immigrants, all these people that are on that ADOS bandwagon, all of a sudden they acting like they respect this brother, even though they've been bashing and trashing immigrants all day and night. So yeah, I just had to point this out, man. This brother is doing great things. And this is not just some exception. There are plenty of immigrants, black immigrants in particular, who have given back to the black community, who have supported the black community over the years. And this brother is just one of many examples. I've cited other examples like a Kwame Ture. His people were from Trinidad. You know, that brother was a dedicated soldier in the struggle. He wasn't no internet personality like 90% of these people here on YouTube, man, you know, who don't do real activism. All they do is talk all day, you know, while other people are at work, putting in work. You got these clowns on the internet just chit-chatting all day for hours upon hours, not building nothing, not really doing anything but talking. But this brother, Kwame Ture, actually was on the front lines, facing the police dogs, facing the Klan, facing the police and their bullets and batons and all that kind of stuff, so that we could have civil rights in this country, so that we could have the things that we take for granted today, like voting rights, the right to go to any business establishment we choose to go to. It was because of brothers like Kwame Ture, you know, an immigrant, because of people like Harry Belafonte given to the civil rights struggle, because of a person like a Marcus Garvey. We wouldn't even have a red, black, and green if it wasn't for a Jamaican immigrant, the brother Marcus Garvey, giving back to the community, you know, fighting for African people, not just in America, but worldwide. So we got to move behind this prejudice and this ignorance. You know, this ADOS movement, you know, in some ways, there are some positive aspects. The only positive thing that I could think about is the fact that it has generated a discussion about reparations. But other than that, you know, it's like a virus. It's like some kind of infestation, this polluting and infecting Black YouTube, promoting division among Black people when we should be uniting with one another and building with each other. They don't have any kind of legislative agenda. You know, the only thing that they're doing is running around harassing Democratic candidates for president. You know, I've seen videos where they basically said that they're not going to concentrate on Republicans. They're just going to focus on these Democrats that are running for president. And they're not even focusing on the people that actually hold power right now to affect change, man, to get H.R. 40 passed. And if they hate H.R. 40 so much and it's not strong enough, where is their proposed legislation? They don't have any, because their intent is not to get legislation passed. It's not to really even get reparations passed. For all intents and purposes, these people are serving as pawns to help Donald Trump and the right-wing Republicans remain in power. So yeah, man, I just had to hop on here for a second, man. A couple of my subscribers mentioned this issue, and it's something that I touched on briefly in my very first video about the untimely death of this brother, Nipsey Hussle. You know, the fact of the matter is he's a son of immigrants and, you know, of an immigrant. His father's an immigrant. His mother's a Black American. And I just think that he defies all these negative stereotypes that people have about Black immigrants and their children. You know, it gets so idiotic that these people are searching for people's, you know, searching to see if they have somebody in their family that's an immigrant, and then they use that to discredit them. I've seen them use that against Dr. Umar Johnson. You know, anytime anybody raises any questions about this ridiculous, backwards, reactionary, anti-immigrant, anti-African ADOS movement, all of a sudden people want to question, what is your identity? Are you a son of immigrants, or do you have immigrants in your family? It's getting ridiculous, and in a lot of ways it reminds me of the Red Scare, where they were looking for people who were communists. That's what we've reduced ourselves to, listening to this Yvette Carnell, who's affiliated with this damn white supremacist by the name of John Tanton. So yeah, man, I just had to get on here and express my views real quick. You know, I don't have much time. I'm supposed to go to this community meeting. So I'm not going to be able to hang out with y'all for long. Yeah, I really didn't. Shout out to Frankie Robertson. I didn't really know much about Nipsey Hussle either. I did see the positive videos that he had posted, you know, that had been posted on social media. I did know about the good things that he was doing in the community. Like, I wasn't familiar with his music. You know, I'm not really, I don't really listen to West Coast rap that much. Like most of the art, I do listen to some. Like, I like Kendrick and I like The Game, and of course Snoop and all them from back in the day. But I don't listen to the new people from the West Coast too much, so I wasn't really familiar with his music, but I was familiar with his statements about investing in real estate. I was familiar with the things that he was doing in the community in terms of buying businesses and employing people. I knew about that, but I wasn't familiar with his music. And I know that a lot of people weren't. Yeah, I haven't seen that interview on The Breakfast Club. I got to check that out. So Conscious Clout said his mom is African American. Yes, of course his mother is African American, but his father is African. And I've noticed that these ADOS people condemn people that have one of their parents is being, this an immigrant. We see what they do to Barack Obama. Because one of his parents is an immigrant, they try to discount everything that brother had to say and what he had to do and all that kind of stuff. So it's not reaching. It's not reaching, especially when you had these ADOS people questioning Umar Johnson, for instance, by saying, well, somebody in his family is a Cuban, so he's not down with ADOS and all that kind of stuff. No, I'm not reaching. It's ADOS and that ridiculous backwards movement of theirs that's reaching by, reaching to divide people and stuff like that. So I'm not the one reaching. Yeah, I mean, people worse. I mean, the fact of the matter is his father is an immigrant. So, I mean, this is relevant to this issue of ADOS because that's what they focus on. Like if somebody's parents are immigrant and they try to use that to suggest that somehow they're not really down or, they can't represent us. They're agents of white supremacy. Like, for instance, Joy Reid, because her parents are immigrants, people are attacking her legitimacy, saying she can't talk about black issues and stuff like that. I mean, this ADOS thing is so utterly ridiculous, man. And, this example of the brother Nipsey Hussle and all the great things that he's done just, like, explodes that whole ridiculous theory, man. And he's just one of countless examples of immigrants that do things that benefit the black community. So somebody said he was ADOS. He wasn't, I mean, he's not fully ADOS because one of his parents are an immigrant. I mean, it's funny how these people are saying he's ADOS and stuff like that. It just gets ridiculous, man. Like, these same people that are talking about he's ADOS are the same people that question somebody else's identity because one of their parents are an immigrant. I mean, these people are all over the place. Their ideology has no sound foundation and stuff. Yeah, and so Elaine Lloyd said if Nipsey was ADOS, then I can be ADOS because my father was American. So I'm guessing that like one of your parents is an immigrant and stuff. And it's like, why are we even talking about this stuff, this minutia? Like, oh, somebody's got one of their parents is an immigrant and stuff like that. That just shows you how asinine and ridiculous this ADOS thing is, man. But yeah, I don't want to keep y'all much longer. I just had to hop on here to address this. And I know these ADOS drones and zombies are going to find some kind of way to weasel out of this. Like you see here in the comment section, people saying, oh, well, one of his parents is ADOS, so he's ADOS. These same people are the same people that criticize somebody for having one parent that's an immigrant. That's just how ridiculous and how foolish and buffoonish that ridiculous ideology is. It's a joke. Shout out to Gab Talk TV. Yeah, I'm willing and ready to come on your platform. Just let me know, give me some dates. We need to see what dates work and stuff. And somebody the other day asked me if I was going on O'Shea's show. Like, if he invites me on there, you know, I'll be happy to go on there. If it's a time that works for me and it's a topic that's relevant to me, then yeah, I mean, I'm still open to be on there. But I just prefer to be on my own stuff, to be honest, man. I don't like operating under anybody else's house. You know what I'm saying? But I'm willing to do it if that's what people want to see. But yeah, I'm gonna say peace and blessings to each and every one of you. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, so people, Frankie Robertson mentioned that show Chewing Gum and stuff like that. How that's, you know, how that's a great show, and you know, it's a show that's based in England and stuff like that. And you have like a lot of foreign, you know, obviously since it's based in England, you got black people from another country in that particular film. And that just makes me think about like these ADOS people. I mean, y'all might as well stop watching any movie with Lupita Nyong'o in it, any movie with your man Idris Elba. I mean, you might as well just stop watching a lot of things if you hate the immigrants so much and they're replacing you and this and that. I mean, that ideology is so ridiculous, man. It's so ridiculous that you got black militants, people that are so militant and so pro-black, running around here waving the American flag, the red, white, and blue. When the other day they was waving the red, black, and green. I mean, it's just like so crazy, man. Running around here begging for a check. But anyway, man, let me go, man. I'm going to go on all day with this subject. And I know the haters are going to come over and hate. Get your hate on. You know, the haters are nothing but my motivators, man. Even the haters' views count. Because you do nothing but add to my view count. Peace.